I'm tired of the rhetoric of, oh, you sell out in Hollywood because you wore a dress. I wore a dress, it's called White Chicks. You know what we did? We did a classic. When Dustin Hoffman wears a dress in Tootsie, yes, he wins an Oscar. Black people, as soon as we put on a dress, we start tearing each other down. This is art, and this is...
Whatever happened to integrity, man, huh? How many brothers gotta wear a motherfucking dress? Everybody on TV got on a goddamn dress. Shanae, Shanana, Shanookie. What I'm gonna be, It ain't happening.
Katt Williams, known for his sharp tongue and fearless commentary, is stirring up the comedy world once again. This time, Marlon Wayans finds himself in the spotlight of Katt's critiques. It seems no one, not even the renowned Wayans family, can dodge a call-out from Katt. The buzz around the comedy scene suggests Katt is preparing for a confrontation with Marlon, fueled by some serious allegations. Katt accuses Marlon of defending individuals he labels as predators within the comedy industry. This accusation is linked to the ongoing debate about Black comedians and the controversy of wearing dresses for roles in media. Katt argues that dressing in drag has become an unwritten requirement for Black comedians to achieve success in Hollywood. Contrary to Katt's stance, Marlon appears to dismiss this narrative, sparking tension between the two. Marlon, celebrated for his role in White Chicks, where he famously donned a dress and makeup, has recently voiced his frustration with the criticism Black actors face for taking on such roles. In a candid discussion with Big Boy, Marlon expressed his bewilderment at the double standard. He pointed out that when white actors like Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, or Dustin Hoffman dress in drag for a role, their performances are praised as groundbreaking. In contrast, Black actors facing similar choices are accused of betraying their integrity. This brewing controversy has Katt Williams ready to challenge Marlon, accusing him of protecting the industry norms that pressure Black men into compromising roles. Katt's aggressive stance suggests he's not just critiquing Marlon's defense of these practices, but is also highlighting a broader issue within Hollywood's portrayal of Black comedians. The debate has caught the attention of fans and critics alike, turning into a heated discussion that transcends comedy, touching on themes of race, representation, and artistic freedom in the entertainment industry. As we delve into this unfolding drama, the community is eager to hear more from both Katt and Marlon. Will this dispute lead to a deeper conversation about the challenges Black comedians face in Hollywood, or will it simply add fuel to the fire of an already contentious debate? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: Katt Williams is not one to back down, and Marlon Wayans has never been shy about defending his views. The comedy world is watching closely as these two giants prepare to square off over an issue that has long been a point of contention in their industry. Marlon Wayans has taken a firm stance against the criticism surrounding Black actors wearing dresses for comedic roles. He's calling out the hypocrisy and urging the Black community to stop attacking their own over such issues. It's comedy, it's art, Marlon insists, highlighting the double standards in the industry. When actors like Dustin Hoffman receive accolades for similar roles, their performances are celebrated as brilliant, yet Black actors face backlash from their own communities for the same artistic choices. Marlon is advocating for a shift in perspective, encouraging a celebration of all forms of Black humor instead of criticism and division. He believes in supporting and uplifting each other, embracing the diversity within the Black community rather than succumbing to a toxic mindset that divide. Why should we undermine the contributions of comedians like Flip Wilson or Tyler Perry? Marlon questions, stressing the importance of recognizing and valuing the broad spectrum of Black comedy. In a conversation about his own experiences with Katt Williams, Marlon recalls a time when Katt criticized him for not pursuing stand-up comedy full-time. They were working together on Behind the Smile, and at that point, Marlon hadn't ventured deeply into stand-up. Katt, seeing potential in Marlon, suggested he give it a try and even offered to lend him some of his own material. Marlon, however, was determined to carve his own path in comedy. "If I'm going to do stand-up, I want it to be with my own material," Marlon explained, appreciating Katt's gesture but choosing to rely on his creativity and voice. Marlon's resolve to stay true to his artistic vision and his call for unity and respect within the Black comedic community highlight his commitment to fostering a more inclusive and supportive environment. By challenging the status quo and advocating for a broader appreciation of Black humor, Marlon Wayans is pushing for a cultural shift that celebrates diversity and talent in all its forms, moving away from divisiveness and towards mutual support and recognition. Marlon Wayans held firm in his identity as an actor, even when Katt Williams critiqued him for not doing stand-up comedy, labeling him more of a comedic actor than a true comedian. Rather than seeing this as a slight, Marlon viewed Katt's words as a motivating challenge. He saw it as a call to elevate his comedy, to dive deeper into the craft of stand-up. Instead of reacting defensively, Marlon took it upon himself to hone his skills, embarking on a journey that saw him doing comedy specials and touring. This effort was Marlon's way of proving that he could indeed stand among seasoned comedians. He acknowledges that he has grown significantly since Katt's initial critique, using the feedback as a catalyst for improvement rather than a source of discouragement. Marlon's approach is all about positivity and growth. He and his family, known for their significant contributions to comedy, prioritize love and positive vibes within the industry. They strive to uplift others rather than tear them down. Following Marlon's candid interview, reactions from fans varied, with some siding with Katt Williams. One fan pointed out the importance of respecting an artist's choice not to conform to certain Hollywood expectations, like wearing a dress for a role. Another highlighted Katt's commentary on the industry's pressures and the authenticity of those who navigate it without compromising their values. This discussion also brought Kevin Hart into the conversation. Before becoming a household name, Kevin shared insights on the importance of artists maintaining control over their image and setting clear boundaries. He emphasized the value of knowing what lines not to cross to protect one's brand. Kevin's stance on not wearing a dress for a role was clear. He had not encountered such a proposition and was adamant about not compromising his image for a laugh or a role. This perspective underlines the broader debate about artistic integrity, personal boundaries, and the challenges Black comedians face in Hollywood. Kevin Hart once firmly stated he would never perform certain acts that he felt would compromise his dignity, like dribbling a basketball on a talk show to avoid looking foolish. He believed in maintaining a strong, respectable brand image.
Definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you refuse to cross.
However, things took a surprising turn when, not long after expressing these sentiments, Kevin appeared in a Saturday Night Live skit wearing a dress, despite previously stating he would avoid such roles to protect his brand.
9-year-old Oscar nominee, Kavenshanae Wallace.
This sudden shift bewildered fans, especially since Kevin had been vocal about setting boundaries and preserving his brand integrity. The incident led to accusations from fans who felt betrayed, pointing out Kevin's apparent hypocrisy. They questioned his earlier commitment to brand protection, now seeing his actions as contradictory. Despite this, Kevin Hart defended his decision, arguing that comedic actors like Martin Lawrence, Tyler Perry, and Jamie Foxx chose to wear dresses for roles without compromising their integrity.
You know what? I was actually one of those comedians that said, "Nah, I wouldn't wear a dress. There's no way I would wear a dress." And then when proposed with the opportunity of what I felt was funny, I said, "Oh, that's funny, I'm gonna do it."
He suggested that it was a personal choice rather than a compromise, emphasizing individual agency in these decisions.
It's all about choice. You know, nobody makes you do anything. Nobody says this is what you got to do. This is the only way that you're going to do it.
However, critics argue that the situation isn't merely about personal choice, especially considering Kevin's initial resistance to such roles. They suggest that financial incentives might overshadow previously stated principles, hinting at a common industry trend where monetary gain challenges personal integrity. This perspective raises questions about the influence of financial considerations on an artist's decisions, suggesting that the promise of financial reward can lead artists to reconsider their boundaries. This debate echoes Steve Harvey's candid admission about the price of integrity, where he humorously noted that a significant sum could easily persuade him to set aside his personal principles for financial gain.
10 million. For 4 million, I'll be all them can stand. Black people will be so embarrassed by my performance, you'll be sitting up there just going, "Look at this big lip. Son of a..."
Harvey's openness about the potential conflict between integrity and financial success highlights a broader conversation about the compromises and decisions artists face in the entertainment industry. After Kevin Hart wore a dress for a role, his career skyrocketed, making him one of the wealthiest comedians in the industry. This decision, which some viewed as compromising his integrity, turned out to be a pivotal moment, catapulting him to unprecedented financial success. While debates about the trade-off between integrity and success continue, Kevin's financial achievements speak for themselves. Katt Williams, who has been vocal about his stance on Black black comedians wearing dresses in Hollywood, initially faced criticism from peers for his outspoken views. However, over time, some of his fellow actors began to understand his perspective. Brandon T. Jackson, who wore a dress in Big Mama's house alongside Martin Lawrence, later expressed regret for that decision during an interview with Comedy Hype. He reflected on how his career took a negative turn after taking on that role, noting that while it increased his visibility, it also led to personal turmoil. Jackson described the time following his appearance in Big Mama's house as one of the lowest points in his life, despite the professional visibility it brought him.
Everything went wrong. It's like everything went right. Everything went wrong when I put on that dress.
Meeting his daughter's mother during this period added to his challenges, marking a complex time where his career highs contrasted sharply with personal lows. He likened his role to a passing of the torch from Martin Lawrence, but acknowledged the unexpected difficulties that came with it. Discussing the quality of Big Mama's house, Jackson was candid in his assessment. He acknowledged the film's entertainment value, but criticized its reliance on the worn-out trope of a man wearing a dress for laughs, a concept he felt was unoriginal and overused. Jackson admitted that his primary motivations for accepting the role were the paycheck and the chance to work with Lawrence, despite his reservations about the film's artistic merit.
What didn't go right with Big Mama's?
It was, first of all, no offense, that movie was to me. It wasn't a prolific film.
Brandon T. Jackson went into more detail about his choice to wear a dress in Big Mama's house, explaining it wasn't just about the money, but also a significant step in his career. However, as the conversation progressed, it became evident that Brandon's views have evolved significantly since he first started in the entertainment industry. The interviewer highlighted Brandon's more enlightened outlook and inquired if he had faced any criticism for wearing the dress, particularly from Katt Williams. Brandon acknowledged that Katt Williams was the only one who had advised him against it, advice he initially dismissed as mere heckling.
Katt Williams was trying to always say, Brandon, don't wear a dress. You know,
He called you, or is this?
no, he was saying it in the media, so I thought he was heckling me. He was really trying to help me at the time. I didn't know that. I was immature.
Over time, however, Brandon realized that Williams was actually trying to protect him from industry traps. Looking back, Brandon recognized his own naivete and defensiveness in navigating his career while under scrutiny. Williams, he understood, was cautioning him about the deeper implications of conforming to certain roles. When asked whether any sum could now tempt him to wear a dress again, Brandon's answer was a resolute no, indicating a profound shift in his values and priorities. He reflected on how, after his role in Lottery Ticket, where he didn't wear a dress, the pressure to conform to such stereotypes increased. Brandon compared his situation to Tupac's, suggesting that the entertainment industry often seeks to diminish the authenticity of those it perceives as too real by pushing them into roles that don't align with their true selves. He pondered the rationale behind the industry's insistence on men wearing dresses, contemplating whether it was an attempt to dilute their genuine essence. Brandon emphasized that wearing a dress conflicts with his cultural identity, suggesting that such expectations are often imposed by individuals from different cultural backgrounds who do not share the same norms. This reflection highlights Brandon's commitment to staying true to himself and his cultural roots, regardless of the pressures exerted by the entertainment industry. Brandon T. Jackson reflected on his personal journey and the repercussions he faced after wearing a dress in a film. He described this decision as a turning point that led to a series of challenges in both his personal life and career, marking it as a curse. Despite these difficulties, Brandon maintained that individuals should make choices aligned with their cultural values and beliefs, highlighting the importance of personal integrity in the entertainment industry. In his conversation, Brandon also referenced Dave Chappelle's commentary on the subject, noting a perceived change in Martin Lawrence's demeanor over the years. While acknowledging Martin's diminished vibrancy compared to his own enduring energy and that of Eddie Murphy, Brandon speculated that the change might not solely be attributed to aging, but could involve deeper spiritual factors. He shared his perspective that wearing a dress seemed to dampen his own spirit, contrasting his experience with that of others like Tyler Perry, who appeared to thrive. Brandon stressed that every individual's journey is unique and that his observations are based on his personal experiences. He admitted his uncertainty about the broader implications of wearing a dress in the industry, suggesting a complex interplay of personal and professional dynamics. When asked whether he would caution other comedians about the potential pitfalls of wearing a dress for a role, Brandon confirmed he would, based on his own negative experience. He humorously wished for a time machine to go back and advise his younger self against making that choice, underscoring the lasting impact of such decisions on an artist's career and personal growth. Brandon also touched upon Katt Williams' spiritual reservations about wearing a dress, contrasting it with Martin Lawrence's approach to comedy and film roles. He recounted a conversation where Martin expressed interest in casting him in a future project, highlighting the different paths and choices that shape an artist's career in Hollywood. Brandon's reflections provide insight into the nuanced debates within the entertainment industry regarding artistic integrity, cultural representation, and personal identity. Katt Williams was all in for supporting Martin Lawrence on his next film project, ready to show loyalty and camaraderie. But the tables turned when he realized the script for Big Mama's House 2 involved Martin donning a dress yet again to portray the character of Big Mama. Katt was baffled, questioning the repetitive choice of roles that revolved around wearing a dress. He argued there were countless other characters they could explore without resorting to the same old trope. Katt's frustration reached a boiling point, leading him to suggest that if Martin was looking for someone to fit that specific role, then Brandon T. Jackson would be a better fit. Lo and behold, Brandon T. Jackson was cast not just for the sequel, but also appeared in the third installment of the series. Katt emphasized his desire to ensure the material was respectful and true to life, aiming to maintain authenticity and uphold his values without offending the real individuals they portrayed. This scenario echoes Dave Chappelle's famous refusal to wear a dress for a comedy sketch, highlighting a similar challenge he faced. Chappelle recounted his experience during a 2006 interview with Oprah, where he was surprised to find a dress intended for him to wear in a scene designed to add humor by having his character disguise as a prostitute. Chappelle firmly declined, asserting his comedic integrity didn't rely on wearing a dress. Despite the production team's insistence, Chappelle remained steadfast, leading to the quick creation of an alternative scene that did not involve the dress, leaving him to ponder the ease with which the change was made. These stories from Williams and Chappelle reveal a deeper issue within Hollywood's comedy scene, where Black comedians often face pressure to conform to stereotypes or comedic concepts that they find demeaning or misaligned with their principles. Both comedians' experiences underscore their commitment to authenticity and their refusal to compromise their values for a laugh, highlighting the importance of integrity in their careers. Dave Chappelle really made us think. It wasn't about the dress itself that bothered him. It was the idea that the industry seemed to push Black entertainers into doing whatever it took to succeed. They wouldn't stop pressuring him until they realized he was serious about not compromising. Dave's refusal to wear a dress was a moment of clarity for him, showing him that this issue was bigger than just him. Many Black actors before him were put in similar positions. Martin Lawrence was memorable in Big Mama's House, Eddie Murphy was hilarious in the Nutty Professor movies, and Jamie Foxx made everyone laugh as Ugly Wanda on In Living Color. The Wayans brothers joined in with White Chicks, and although Juwanna Mann wasn't as well received, it followed the same trend. But Tyler Perry with his Medea character really stood out. Tyler Perry had his own take on the matter. In a response to Dave Chappelle's comments, Perry acknowledged Chappelle's intellect and deep thought process, but clarified his own stance.
19 movies since then has been my choice. So I don't. Maybe that's the way it's been for some other men who had done.
He said, Dave's one of the smartest people out there, not just in comedy, but as a thinker. And if that's what Hollywood is like, that's their business. But it wasn't like that for me. Wearing Medea's dress was my choice, my idea. It led to a franchise worth billions, and everything I've done, I've chosen to do. Perry emphasized that his decision to wear a dress was like putting on a work uniform for him. He didn't personally enjoy it, but as an actor, it was part of his role. Wearing that dress is like someone working at Walmart putting on their uniform. I wear it, make people laugh, and hopefully uplift and inspire them. That's what it's all about for me. Tyler Perry's perspective offers a different viewpoint on the issue, highlighting personal agency and the power of choice in an industry known for its pressures and expectations. There's a discussion going around, and you might not have caught wind of it yet. It's about how some believe that Black comedians are pressured at some point in their careers to wear a dress in films. This idea is stirring up quite a conversation online, with some interpreting it as a modern form of buck breaking, a term with deeply disturbing historical roots, suggesting it's a test by Hollywood to see if you're game for anything to succeed. Let's take a moment to understand what buck breaking originally meant. This horrendous practice was used by slave owners, particularly in the Caribbean, against male slaves who showed any sign of defiance. They would publicly degrade these men by whipping them severely while they were forced into a vulnerable position. This act was intended to break their spirit and assert dominance, often culminating in a SA performed in front of the enslaved man's family, adding layers of psychological trauma. Fast forward to the present, and there's a perceived parallel in Hollywood. The industry, some argue, metaphorically puts strong black men in dresses, reminiscent of that historical dehumanization. This action isn't just about the garment, it's seen as a symbolic act that messes with the psyche of both the actors and their audience, particularly young fans who look up to these figures as models of masculinity. It's as if Hollywood is playing a twisted game, showcasing these transformations in the most public way possible, affecting not just the actors involved, but their fans and families too. Observers point out a pattern where typically masculine, strong black men in the entertainment industry are the ones subjected to this, noting that it wasn't a part of their image during their younger years in school. The conversation highlights a concerning echo of the past, suggesting that despite the change in context, the underlying intent to undermine and control remains, leaving many to ponder the implications of such actions in today's society. It's not about questioning anyone's sexuality or personal choices. If that's how someone identifies or chooses to express themselves, there's absolutely no issue with that. But we're specifically discussing straight black men who enter Hollywood exuding strength and self-assurance, only to leave with their personas dramatically altered. And it's crucial to note that the responsibility doesn't solely lie with the industry. These individuals actively choose to comply with these expectations. They're essentially agreeing to play into a certain narrative for the sake of advancement, even if it means participating in what some see as a modern-day version of buck breaking. It's about the willingness to conform to an agenda that may not align with their values, all for financial gain and fame. Today, unlike the involuntary humiliation of the past, it's a path some choose to walk down. Marlon Wayans, however, appears to be approaching the situation with Katt Williams from a place of unity and professionalism. In his words during an interview, Marlon emphasizes the solidarity within the stand-up community, viewing it as a collective rather than a battleground for personal disputes. For Marlon, the art form is a shared space where negativity has no place. If there's a disagreement, it should be handled privately, maintaining the dignity of their craft. Marlon promotes a sense of fraternity among comedians, choosing not to engage in public criticisms or disagreements. He maintains a stance of respect and support for Katt Williams, regardless of any potential differences, likening the dynamic to a family where disagreements exist but don't define the relationship. Marlon recognizes Katt's contributions and talents, stressing the importance of acknowledging each other's achievements and the overall respect for the craft. While Marlon offers a conciliatory tone, it's unclear if Katt Williams shares the same sentiment of camaraderie. Despite Marlon's efforts to keep things amicable, there's a sense that the warmth might not be mutual. What's your take on this situation? Feel free to share your thoughts below, and let's continue the conversation in the comments section.